Hi, GhostBrother here with SEM Airsoft in Naples, Florida, and today I'm going to be reviewing the DBoys M16A4 RIS. It's a full metal M16. It's one of the most affordable on the market, and it comes with a full metal RIS rail. We're going to talk a little bit about the externals, but I'm really going to focus on the internals, seeing as when I did research on this gun, I couldn't find any in-depth descriptions or photos or any type of review really on the internals. Externally, there is a split along the stock that a lot of players were talking about when they were reviewing this rifle. It's not such a big deal, but it's something that you think that they would fix in the later versions. Also, I noticed on my rifle, if you look down the rail, you can see my front sight is actually torqued off to the side about ½ a centimeter. To me, that's a problem, especially if there are new players who are getting this gun, don't know how to adjust it. There is an Allen screw underneath the triangle sight, underneath the front sling mount. You can unscrew that, loosen it, and you can realign this and tighten it back up. Outside of that, the powder coat on the metal, at least that's kind of what it looks like, is flat black. It's very nice, very comfortable. The rest of the gun is very solid. There's very minimal wobble between the upper and lower receivers, and there's no wobble between the two-piece rail unit and the upper receiver, probably because there's a very strong delta ring here. Internally, let me hook up this battery. It's been described that this gun sounds as smooth as silk, and I actually have to disagree on that. This is the included battery. It's a 9.6, 120 milliamp battery, and this is semi-automatic. This is full auto. As you can hear, this gun screams, pointing to there's either an issue with the motor head adjustment or the shimming of the gears itself. So we're going to open up this gun and take a peek at the inside, see probably what's causing that screaming, and get this gun. We're going to take a peek at it in its stock form, and then you probably won't see, but I'm going to go ahead and do my my maintenance and my tune-up to it, just get it running in tip-top shape. I'm one of those people who likes to fine-tune stock guns and use them that way. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I take the gun apart. So, now that I got the gun apart, I am left with the gearbox. And you know, you might have thought, sweet, a nice black gearbox. Well, it's just because I painted it with spray paint or something, because they left a little bit inside here. It shows kind of poor workmanship, in my opinion, but we'll see where it goes from there. Outside of that, I've got the gears here, you know, generic Chinese gears branded with just an X on them. One thing that I did see right away, though, is that there is already wear on this gear. Right here, you can see a line. It's either wear or casting, but given the location and given the type of I guess advancement of the wear, it is wear the gears already. That's something that's not good, especially in a gun that's shooting over 400 FPS, as this one was clocked in by GI at 408. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that this gun comes stock with metal bearings. These aren't the best idea if you're going to be running a high FPS gun, and I've heard of people who have had problems with the DBoys bearings. Personally, I only run bushings in my guns. It's solid, so you don't have the problem of failure as much, especially because bearings are they're fit to spin inside each other. So you're not going to have the problem that you would, this could fail and this could just pop right out or be deformed, whereas a bushing would take much longer to deform and that would only occur because of the revolutions. The gears themselves seems to be of pretty good quality. Pulling out the piston here, and they went the same route as everyone else. It's something I've been doing for many years, which is shaving off that second to last tooth there. It really helps a lot in engagement and preventing the pre-engagement there, and saving the life of the piston. There is no wear on this piston. It is the cheap generic, but the piston head is plastic, which is great. There are a lot of guns coming out with a lot of aluminum piston heads. Stupid idea in my opinion. But then again, that's only my opinion, but it's mostly because of the type of energy that is forced into the front of the gearbox, especially when you're dealing with a version 2 gearbox. I've never had a problem with a plastic piston head, and this one's ported too, which is even better. The tappet plate and air nozzle are standard Chinese cheapo plastic. Again, never had a problem with this type of stuff either. Once you get into upgrading, you do run into the problems that you need to have parts that will mesh with each other and not break. If you properly tune a stock gun, you won't have problems. A lot of people kind of overlook that, feel that they need to upgrade. It's absolutely not something that you need to do. If stock parts are not working together properly to begin with, like if it's a very cheap gun, then yeah, there is always a way that you can improve it. But for the most part, stock parts are the way to go. You have a lot less cost initially, and people tend to just give up on them, whereas I'm a fan of building stock guns properly and having them last forever. Air nozzle is always something that should be looked at, should be greased properly. They were very, they did do a lot of greasing on this gearbox. I'm just going to strip all that out, put in some white lithium there. The piston head, let me pull this out, is actually very solid in the cylinder. So that's a good thing, meaning that the seal is going to be good. And I'm willing to bet it's a single O-ring, but that's fine by me. And yep, there we are, single O-ring, just the flat plastic or flat rubber bumper here. It's standard, but again, it should work just fine, especially for my purposes. The cylinder is your standard brass cylinder. Trigger unit, it's standard trigger unit. So as you see, there's a lot of this yellow plastic that is used in a lot of Chinese guns. It lasts, maybe not as long as my favorite is the G&P white piston, of course, and other higher quality plastics, but they do last. And so just going to clean it up, re-grease it as I said, and we'll see what we can do in making this gun sound a little better. The other thing I wanted to point out is that with this hop-up, if you look, there's actually quite a bit of grease in there that moves whenever I move this hop-up. That's not good. That's a lot of lubrication that we probably don't want. The clear hop-up unit, that's not really a plus. That plastic probably isn't the best. The barrel was very dirty when I looked down. It is a nice brass barrel, 509 millimeters, the standard for M16s. The wheel on the hop-up right here is a little loose, and it doesn't allow for full turnaround. I kind of like the full turnaround. I'll probably cut the notches in there for that. But outside of that, definitely gotta replace the hop-up sleeve there, and we'll see what else we can do. But there's even a little bit of brown in there. I wonder if that's this type of grease that they're actually using, the gear grease, if they're going to be using that in the hop-up, or if it's, well, like rust or something. I don't know, but that's something to look into. Definitely not the best internals here, but they're doable, and for a $130-something gun, it's good. One other thing I wanted to point out is that while the piston head does not have bearings, the spring guide does. And it is plastic body here, but this is metal here, and you have your metal bearings there, which is good for the spring. You know, I think that just about covers up all of the internals of this gun. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or, you know, comment on this video. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm excited to be using this gun this coming Sunday at my last skirmish down here in Florida before I move up to Omaha, Nebraska. And we'll see how the gun does, you know. My goal is for it to be a DMR. The gearbox seems pretty sturdy, well reinforced. Might try to do it, might kind of keep it as a low-level DMR, just work on the accuracy of this thing, getting it consistent, reliable. And, you know, I might check back with you, might not. I just hope this helped you out. Alright, well, have a good day, and if you decide to pick up a DBoys M16A4, maybe you know a little more about what to expect. Alright, GhostBrother out.
Don't mess with fire.